This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a blessed and wonderful Sunday. And in the news this morning for June 11, 2023, police launch manhunt for St. James' most wanted. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has launched a manhunt in St. James for Ocho Francis, also known as a Brockhand, who is considered to be the most wanted man in the parish. Francis was moved to the top of the most wanted list following the death of Nestor Zadu Gallimore. According to the police, the operation is focused around the Rosemount area, where authorities have already seized a vehicle known to have been used by Francis. As the operation continues to unfold, the divisional commander and his team are encouraging all citizens within the Rosemount community to remain inside their homes for their own safety. The JCF remains committed to maintaining the peace and safety in the parish and the broader Jamaican community. We are urging persons to report any suspicious activities or individuals observed in and around the Rosemount area, the JCF said in a statement. Any relevant information can be relayed to the JCF through the NIB tip line at 811, Crime Stop at 311, Police Emergency Number at 119, or the nearest police station. Over $250,000 stolen in St. Mary gas station robbery. A gas station in Castleton, St. Mary, was robbed of more than $250,000 during a daring daylight holdup by two men on Friday. The robbers also brazenly held up a man who was selling in front of the gas station, police said. There were no reports of any injuries during the incident. It was reported that around 1:30 p.m., two men, one armed with a handgun, entered the gas station and held up and robbed the attendant of cash, which was the day's sale. The men then took her further inside the establishment, where the safe was located, and robbed $255,000. Police said the robbers exited the establishment and held up a vendor who was selling in front of the gas station. That man was robbed of $6,000 cash. The men then escaped in a silver Nissan Latia motor car. Blaine wants longer prison sentences for child abusers. Longer prison sentences are needed. That is the call being made by Betty Ann Blaine, children's advocate and the founder of Hear the Children's Cry, as she pointed to individuals who are found guilty of committing crimes against the children. I think the judiciary, as well as the rest of the country, must now look at these sentences being passed down for people who abuse the children, particularly rape, abductions, and so on. Over the years, we have noticed that some of the sentences have been very light, and I think that the kind of sentences judges give for these crimes are important, Blaine told the news. Blaine said short prison times for men in particular who have abused or murdered children and leave their families with lifelong pain trivializes the grave offense. It sends a message to me and across the country that children can be abused, raped, killed, involved in cases of incest, and so on. The consequences are light. In other words, at a time like this, when we see so many cases of abuse against the children, a message must be sent that if you are convicted, you are going to serve a lot of time. Blaine added the message must be, you are going to serve a long time, we are going to lock you away from society for a long time. And I think the public needs to hear that message and see that message. Some recent cases in which the families of the victims and the public at large have been outraged following sentencing include that of Davian Bryan, Sheridan Shepherd, and the matter involving Raven Wilson. Shepherd, the 40-year-old St. Mary man who admitted to sexually assaulting 7 children, was sentenced to 17 years and 11 months in prison on Friday, February 10, 2023. He is eligible for parole after 12 years. Bryan was sentenced to 23 years imprisonment when he appeared in the St. Thomas Parish Court on Wednesday, May 31, 2023. He had pleaded guilty to 12 counts of rape, grievous sexual assault, and a forcible abduction. Bryan abducted and sexually assaulted 2 girls aged 9 and 13 in Bath, St. Thomas in October 2021. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck expressed disappointment over what he said was the inadequate sentence for Brian. Chuck said that life imprisonment would have been more fitting. In November 2018, two 15-year-old boys were charged in relation to Raven's killing. One was charged with murder and the other accessory after the fact to murder. The jury trial, which started early in May, ended on Wednesday, May 31, 2023, as both accused men, now 19 years old, were freed. Raven's mother, Laverne Morgan, and other relatives protested the sentence in St. Ansby last Monday. Too often, Blaine told the news, the justice system sends the message that offenses against the children are not a big deal. I think we have to look at that. This should be subject for a national conversation. I know that the Joint Select Committee of Parliament is looking at amendments of the Child Care and Protection Act right now. Perhaps this is the kind of thing that should be looked into as well. They are looking at sentencing for juveniles, and this is, to me, an appropriate time to look at the sentencing for cases where children are victims, Blaine said. Police station delay irks a senior St. Mary cop. "I'm not going to hold my breath as I might choke," was the tongue-in-cheek comment from Superintendent Bobette Morgan Simpson about the timeline for a new police station in Port Maria. She was launching yet another appeal on Thursday during the monthly meeting of the St. Mary Municipal Corporation. As she has done at the previous meetings, she pleaded for better working conditions for the men and women whom she leads. Imagine being in a jammed space with poor ventilation and to work in such an environment and keep a smile on, Morgan asked of the local elected officials. Police officers are uncomfortable and their morale is waning, she warned. In responding to her plight, Mayor Richard Creary assured her that while funding was not an issue, the challenge has been in obtaining suitable land. "We want the police to have a final resting place, just as how the firefighters were all over the place until they have a new home," Creary said. He explained that the site previously earmarked for the police post was later deemed unsuitable for construction purposes. That was a 30-acre property owned by the Commissioner of Lands. The new police station was to be a 2-story building with living quarters for police officers and a holding cell block. The project was scheduled to be completed this year. Man stabbed to death in Ocho Rios. An unidentified man was stabbed to death in Ocho Rios, St. Anne on Saturday morning. The deceased appeared to be in his 40s, of dark complexion, medium build, and clad in a green-looking shirt, a pair of black jeans pants, and a pair of black and red shoes. Police reports are that about 2:45 a.m., residents stumbled upon the body. When the lawmen arrived at the scene in the vicinity of Burger King, the body was found lying in blood with what appeared to be stab wounds to the head. A police source told the news that the man was reportedly seen running from the vicinity of the Ocho Rios post office with blood coming from his face and then collapsed along the sidewalk. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.